This is the most high-tech mouthguard ever created, and it could help solve the NFL's biggest problem. See, since settling a $1.2 billion concussion lawsuit with its own players in 2013, the NFL has invested millions of dollars into new helmets and rule changes in an attempt to reduce concussions. However, the one thing that has barely changed during that same time frame is how concussions are actually identified. Now, it is true that in the last 10 years, the NFL has committed more resources to identifying concussions on the field. In fact, at every NFL game, there's one independent doctor on each sideline and 2 more spotters up in a booth whose sole job is to watch for concussion symptoms in players. And according to the league's guidelines, these independent doctors have the authority to call medical timeouts to check on players they might suspect have a concussion. And no player is allowed to return to the field until an independent consultant gives them the okay. Still, there's a massive problem with this entire process. It's extremely outdated because not only are doctors expected to identify concussions from across an entire stadium, but players are usually pretty good at masking any symptoms they may have. That's why another league is doing away with having doctors identify concussions altogether, and what they're using instead should be adopted by the NFL ASAP. See, starting in 2023, rugby union became the first sport in the world to use technology to automatically remove players from a game with a suspected brain injury. The way it works is that each player on the field wears one of these mouth guards, which is constantly tracking the acceleration of their head. Now, in the first model, if a hit resulted in an acceleration event above a certain threshold, then an alert would be sent via Bluetooth to an independent doctor on the sideline who could take the player out of the game for an assessment. But since that process often took a few seconds, the makers of this Smout mouth guard decided to go a step further and add a flashing LED light that glows red when a player sustains a significant head impact during a match. This way, referees are able to stop play immediately and send players off for a head assessment, without having to wait for doctors to stop the match for them, which is significant when you consider the fact that upwards of 15% of all concussions in rugby don't even get reported until after a match. As of this year, every player at the Women's Rugby World Cup was wearing one of these things, along with about 85% of all men's players. And at just $250 each, it would cost the NFL less than $552,000 to outfit every single player with one of these things for the upcoming season. Kind of seems like a no-brainer.